And now preparing for Nature the Island. Bringing your right hand thumb up 6 inches in front of the nose, left hand behind, thumb up. Opening the eyes, focusing on that front thumb. Seeing 2 thumbs behind. Alternating to the back thumb, 2 in front. Next time the eyes approach the front thumb, release the thumbs into the eyes, blink and shut. Allowing the eyes to soften to the back of the skull, bringing those palms together, rubbing them together, getting lots of heat and lots of energy. And when you feel that heat, cup the palms over the eyes, taking the energy from the crown chakra, directing it down through the arms, forearms, palms, back into those eyes. And then once that heat begins to dissipate, gently give the eyes, temples, cheeks, anywhere that needs any extra attention this evening. And when you are ready, go ahead and open the eyes, push the legs forward, give them a little shake, and then pull the legs in, and let's go into all fours, but I want you to use a block. So you're going to come to all fours, and then you're going to take the block, and you're going to squeeze it with the upper thighs. So let's quickly make sure. So you can decide if you need a blanket underneath the knees for extra support, get that attached. If you need balls of the feet, tops of the feet, you decide. But let's joint stack, so shoulders, elbows, wrist. You decide if you want forefingers or middle fingers parallel to each other. Or if you need to, you can make fist and come up to the, so that'll take any extra pressure off the wrist. Now, first, let's just squeeze the block and then just press back. So you don't even have to press all the way back into your strong down dog. You can keep the heels up. And then I want you to come forward, keep squeezing the block until you're about 2 inches from the floor. And we're going back and forth. So we want the shins, when you come forward, to remain parallel to the floor. Keep squeezing that block. Keep spreading those fingers. So it doesn't matter forefinger or middle fingers parallel to each other, but we want the fingers splayed really far apart.
I just for weight purposes.
Mm-hmm.
So I invited my buddy Richie tonight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He said, this was like 9 o'clock this morning.
Uh-huh.
I said, you should come by yoga tonight. I can't make it tonight, but it's funny you ask because I am sitting here watching the discussion on the Ramayana.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Somebody's out there watching them unsolicitedly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, the next time you come down, pause. So we're keeping that block there. But I just want you, so we're doing cat and cow, but only with the lower back. So try to keep the upper back out of it. So you feel like you're trying to draw the tailbone forward. And then take the pubic bone, feel like you're trying to take the pubic bone in between the thighs and up. So try to keep the upper back stationary and just get that movement with the lower back.
Somebody's at the front door.
Yeah. I see a white truck outside.
They just walk
So I don't want this to move.
Okay.
So yeah, just here. So feel like you're, yeah. So you try to, yeah. But yeah, try to keep this a little bit. Yeah, so yep. Yeah.
Right.
Just a couple more times. So just trying to get it into the lower back. Okay, pause in that neutral. And then keep the block there. Keep squeezing it. Alexa, I'm moving this block. I'm going to squeeze it. There we go. I'm coming in hot. Now, just the upper back. So try not to get any movement in the lower back. Try not to move the head so much.
Stop.
You think you don't move your head very much?
Yeah, try to keep your head just like, you keep it facing down and just try to get that movement. And then come through neutral. Now do a full cat and cow. We're getting the head involved, getting the upper back, lower back, everything involved. And then come through neutral. Press back downward facing dog. Walk the hands back to the feet. Keep the block there. So take the hands, so you've got the block, you're squeezing the block. Take the hands alongside, drop down so much so that the tips of the fingers are on the floor, and then lift up into chair pose. If anything, you can turn the pinkies in slightly towards each other. Stay exactly in that same chair pose, just hinge forward and see where the fingers are. So don't move, just see, did you stay? Are the fingertips still where you started? Okay, drop. Drop this butt. Drop this butt. Yeah, there, yep. Bring it up again. Stay in that chair pose. Lower the fingers, see where they are. Now this time come all the way up, legs straighten. Left hand is going to reach up and is going to grab the right earlobe. Right arm's going to come around and grab the left earlobe. Pretend my fingers are, I've got this little mic thing on. So you're grabbing the earlobes. Now I want you to drop down into chair pose. So you know the distance, you know how low you're supposed to go. Don't pull the butt in, keep the butt back. If you pull the butt in, you're going to compromise the knee and the lower back. So push the butt out. Push it back up. Lower down.
What's this all about?
We're crossing the midline. Yeah, we're integrating. Yes, Yeah, we're crossing the midline of the body. So we're balancing the left and the right hemispheres of the brain.
And we're just hanging on to the earlobes.
Yes, you are. Squeezing them. Yeah, you're squeezing them. You're pressing. You're not just like gently touching them. You're pressing into. That's a nice one, Alexa. Now, if you feel so inclined, the next few that you come down, come up to the balls of the feet as you drop down. You don't have to. So typically you work up to doing 108 of these. We're not going to because we only have an hour tonight and Riley wants us to get down there. So do another solid 18.
That could be 4.
So you can stay flat feet or you can stay on the balls of the feet. Well, not when you stay on the balls of the feet. So when you start to lower, you're coming up. And when you come up, you flatten.
Don't get me today.
Oh, that's right. You're pretty tired.
Yeah, So like, yep.
If you know that you're being faced with a bad, like something, a thing that you know you shouldn't do, but you know that some scars run so deep that you'll probably do it,
Yeah.
do this instead. Do this instead. Do it 108 times. And then rethink that decision that you were going to. If nothing else, you'll be too damn tired.
Actually, it's common sense.
But if we can get the left and the right side to work together, it's like we were talking about on Sunday, right? When we breathe just dominantly through the left side, we think differently. When we breathe dominantly through the right side, we think differently. This is one of those ways that we can balance the two sides so that we can think better. This is what we've said so many times. The yogis, they did all this stuff. They went inside. They figured things out. They gave us everything we need to do. We just have to do it. And we can't blame anyone but ourselves if we don't do it. At the end of the 18th, go ahead, release the hands, bring the arms up. So right arm up, keep the left hand to the side. And then I want you to lean over. So if you can only lean over before you start like sticking out the hips and doing weird things with the hips, that's as far as you go. So you lean over and then bring the opposite hand up. And we're just going to hold here.
Thanks. I need all the extra support I can get. I literally just go like this.
You wrote a song for the YMCA. Why would you
Bring it back up. Lower the opposite hand. Take it over to the second side. After you've been there for a couple of breaths, slow breaths, then bring the second arm up. Lisa, I'm going to turn the torso just a wee. Got it. And then bring it up. Lower down. So you can move the block out of the way. Then take your right foot forward so you're on the ball of the foot. So it's however you were standing, so your normal stance, slide the right foot forward. So a nice little, a good stride. Come up to, so you should be now on the ball of the right foot. Make sure that the left foot is parallel to the long line of the mat. Come up to the ball of the left foot. Ball of both feet. Nice, Mason. Bring the arms up. So you're on the ball of both feet. Now lower down. The arms and the feet together. So we land back down. So straight up. Sorry, just lowering this. So we're up, and then we lower down. And then we come up. So each time you come up, you're on the balls of the feet. When you lower the arms, you take the feet flat. Can you slow it down a little bit? I shouldn't feel air from the arms moving. So would you lower the hands with the feet? Yeah.
To focus on balance.
So 3 more times, and then when you lower, then you're going to bring that right leg back and then bring the left leg forward. So when you bring the left leg forward, it comes to the ball of the foot. And then you come up to the ball of the right foot. So we talk a lot about death. And I feel like this is something very important. It's just kind of a PSA. But it's, yogically speaking, it's skillfulness in action. So I received a message this week so I taught classes at UD to the professors for, I think, 3 years, something like that. And one of the professors that was taking classes with me, she had been diagnosed when she was 29 with breast cancer, and it was maybe 3 years after her diagnosis that she started taking classes with me, and she actually even took classes downtown. Well, I just got noticed, so 9 years later, I just received a message that she had died. And one of the things that she did before everything was that she really pushed anyone in her circle to have conversations about death. And she had everything completely taken care of. Even she wrote her own obituary.
Smooth.
It's great. It's complete skillfulness in action.
Yeah.
It's great to do that. But we have to be comfortable with death. She wasn't pretending, oh, I'm going to get better. I'm going to do this. A miracle's going to happen. She was very real about everything. And that's something we need to be very real. So finish maybe 3 more, and then you're going to come back and then you're going to step back into this regular stance position. Bring the arms up. Open, take them down, and then walk back to downward facing dog. You know, it's very skillful to take care of things that need to be taken care of. Go ahead and slide that block back up in between the thighs when you get to downward facing dog. I know very early on, Riley and we went and had wills made so that I am his medical power of attorney. He's my medical power of attorney. Otherwise, because we're not married, that would fall to a family member. Riley and I have had very open conversations about what happens when one of us dies, what the other one wants. These are things that you need to do. You need to think about, do you want your nearest family member to be to be the one who makes the decisions? Come to a forward plank. What happens, like for me, and with Riley now with the boys? Can we lower the butt a bit so it's, yeah, nice. Press back, downward facing dog. Come to a forward plank. We don't want to talk about death. ours or others, but it is going to happen. And we don't know when. Press back, downward facing dog. Come to a forward plank. Lower to the knees. Go ahead, scoot the block out of the way, come all the way to the floor. And I want you, so we've done this before when we're on our backs, so we might need to make a little space in between people. So take your arms I'm going to show you guys with Kaylee. So you're going to take your arms forward, so you're on your belly. And then she's going to bring the legs over to the side. So if you know that you have knee issues, if you feel like you need a little extra support, you can ball the feet, but you can also put a blanket underneath to give you a little extra knee support.
Where are arms? Out in front of her?
Out in front of her. So she's going to take this. Do you need this? I didn't think so. Okay, so she's going to come over to the legs with the side, and I want the legs to be straight. So push the legs straight. Take it over. Yep. Now take your body, so you're seeing the body. So now bring the body over towards the same size as the legs. Yep. And try not to do anything with the hips. So the hips are staying to the floor. The torso is staying down. So really, yep. So notice how it feels when you're down on the belly. So when you're prone, and then when we flip and we're supine, just notice how it feels any differently. Does anyone need a blanket?
Or just some adjustment, please.
Okay.
Am I doing this?
Yeah, so
Okay.
keep the hip, but I don't want this any rolling here. So keep everything down.
Okay.
Yep, and then try to walk the hands a little bit more, and then extend the arms. Yeah. Do you feel a stretch down?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yep. Mason, do you need support for your knees? Are you okay?
I'm thinking okay.
Okay, I'm gonna have you can lower these. Yep. So this is nice because you're gonna feel some asymmetry in the back and in the whole lower back side region. Do you have new yoga pants on?
Somewhat.
I'm gonna separate the feet.
Had them for a couple
There we
of
go.
months.
Yep, okay, good.
I'm at the thrift store.
Nice. Can we turn yeah, there we go.
Should I be ball or not? Or does it really-
I'm sorry?
Should I be ball or not? You think?
Whatever feels best for your knees.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So a couple more breaths. We really want to know where these asymmetries are so we can actually do something about them. Now come back through center, and we're going to switch and take it over to the second side.
I'm sleeping on the feet tonight. I feel like a fish.
Out of water. So don't let the hips shift. I want the hips flat to the floor. I want the shoulders flat to the floor. You can do the forehead or the chin. Remember, we are given an allotment of breaths, not an allotment of years. So we squander our lives by not breathing properly. Be aware of how the sides are different. If for no other reason, just that knowledge of the asymmetry. If you know that one side is tighter and you're doing this on your own, hold it for 5 or 10 breaths longer. If you want to do that tonight, you're more than welcome to do that as well. We are given an allotment of everything. So maybe 2 or 3 more breaths, then come back to center. When you get back to center, bring the hands. So if you know that the back tends to be tight, let's opt for Sphinx. So you would slide the hands in one at a time so that the elbows are right underneath the shoulders. Splay those fingers, otherwise fingertips in line with the shoulder heads. And then inhale, bring it up either to Sphinx or Cobra. If you're in Sphinx, make it a little bit more active so you pull forward. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Cobra, the elbows stay bent slightly. It's not upward facing dog. Lower down. Do that 4 more times. So inhale up, exhale down. So we've done 5, inhaling up, exhaling down. Then I want you to do 5, exhaling up, inhaling down. Keep the shoulders away from those ears. Just as we've all had the time that we are supposed to be born, based on our karmas, we have a time to die based on our karmas. Based on our karmas, but our land karma. You were supposed to be born at a place, Dayton, Chicago, wherever, New York, wherever, and you were supposed to die in a certain place. And nature will see to that it happens. At the end of 5 and 5, go ahead and press back, downward facing dog. When you get to downward facing dog, separate the feet the width of the mat. So the outside line of the feet should be right at the outside line of the mat. You have an allotment of food that you will be given. Now from here, so the feet are now the distance of the mat. I want you to turn the left toes. So the left toes are slightly off the mat, but the ball of the left foot is on the mat. You may need a block. So have one handy at the front for you. I've taken a block from Kaylee, I believe. Now bring the right leg forward to the outside of the mat. Right hand, so right hand on the block, inside or outside, it doesn't matter, first, second, or third level, and we're moving into triangle pose. Find the gaze that feels appropriate.
Do this really help?
A little bit. Just got my wrist from my wrist.
Right.
Lisa, I'm gonna scoot over just, ooh, perfect, nice. Kaylee, bend that knee just a little bit because it's, yeah. Slide the right hand forward with the block. Lift up with that back leg, Ardha Chandrasana. A different way to come into Ardha Chandrasana. Yeah. Can you look back and find the big toe? Okay. Not the whole foot. Open, 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 open. Nice. Good. And then extend through a little bit. Extend. Yeah. Nice. I left too soon. Nice, Ray. Ray, draw the. I said nice, Ray, and then I said, Ray, draw the hip back. That's you draw the hip back. There we go. Okay, we're going to lower down after one more breath, and I want you to lower back in that starting position. So leg goes out to the side. Slide the block to the inside, left hand down, right arm up. So let's revolve the triangle. So right foot forward, left foot back. It's in the same position. We just lowered it from Ardha Chandrasana and we're just revolving the triangle now. So back to this allotment of breaths. It would really behoove you, because karmically speaking, that's the best thing to do. Leave everything set and organized so that when you die, it's not a burden on anyone. Release, take it back, downward facing dog. Things are uncomfortable because we don't talk about them. Separate the feet the distance of the mat. Second side, bring that leg forward. So we pivot the back foot, right? So now the ball is on the mat, but the toes are slightly angled but off. Second leg comes forward. It's parallel to the long line of the mat. The more we talk about something, the less awkward it is. The less we try to keep the skeletons in the closet, the less power they have over us. We try to hide things that we're ashamed of, or we try to hide things that we're afraid of. We're afraid of being found out. We're afraid of dying. The more we talk about it, the less that fear has control over us. Swamiji said, there's one way that you can become enlightened just like that. To be fearless. Examine your fears. What is going to happen is going to happen. It's karma. Why should we be afraid of it? Okay, we're going to lift that leg up, slide the block forward. Ardha Chandrasana. Stack the hips. Have the thigh, the leg, parallel to the floor and parallel to the wall. Turn the palm, so the palm is facing towards the kitchen. we must examine ourselves. If I don't survey the house, the ashram, how do I know where to clean? Same thing. If I am not constantly surveying this temple that houses the Atman, release back, revolve it. How am I going to know how to clean the temple? Being brutally honest but radically accepting. Couple more breaths. And release. Take it back, downward facing dog. Walk the feet up to the hands. You're going to immediately drop down. And as you drop down, I want you to slide all the way back. So you're on the mat, on the floor, on your back. Then walk the legs over to the right. So you're walking the legs over to the right. Now interlace the fingers and push the palms up. So if you're lucky enough and you have a baseboard behind you, you can press into the baseboard. So we want the arms nice and straight. Now we're seeing the body, but we're doing it on the back as opposed to being on the belly. So legs have walked over to the side. Yep. Okay, square the hips. Yeah, nice. Let's start with taking the left foot and placing it over the right. So right at the ankles, just cross them. What happens to the hips? What happens to the back? What happens to the shoulders? Can you see the body a little bit more? Perhaps not. Perhaps yes. Can you take the arms now a little bit more over so you're just whatever C that you can make? Now try it, so let's switch it. So let's take the right leg and place it on top of the left. Which one feels like it gives you more challenge? And I want you to stay with that foot on top. The right leg should feel like it weights it down a bit. Don't let those hips shift. If it feels like it's too much for the arms, you don't have to hook them. You can release them. They can be cactus arms. How does this feel compared to when you were on your belly? We did the same thing. We were just on the belly. We were prone as opposed to supine. About 3 more breaths, then you're going to come back through center and we're going to take it to the second side. When you take it to the second side, so 3 breaths, then you're going to switch to the opposite forefingers in that lead position. Same thing, so start with the opposite foot, and then after you've been there for a couple of breaths, then you switch and place the opposite foot on top. So the opposite forefinger should be in lead position. So we need to start examining our fears. Why am I afraid of this? Why am I afraid somebody finds out something about me? If you haven't switched with the other foot on top, at least go ahead and do that. Just to try it. Don't let those hips shift. Just because the feet shifted, the hips should not. Few more breaths. And what is there to fear, right? We're not good, we're not bad, we're just unfinished. That's it. A saint has a past and a sinner has a future. We spend so much time hiding behind our facades, our personas, our mask. We're so afraid that they're going to get ripped off. We have to protect what is not real, what is not us. Come back through center. Squeeze the legs in. Now lower the legs to the floor, and I want you to lift up so that you have your natural lift in the spine. So we could fit a little, we could roll up the strap and we could place it underneath the back. Now take the legs up. And if you need to bend them, by all means bend them. But you'll notice the more you start to lower, bring the legs back to that 90 degrees mark, you're going to start to flatten the spine. Let's not flatten the spine tonight. Let's keep it in its natural curve. So if that means the legs are slightly angled instead of all the way back, that's fine. Bent is fine as well. So we're moving into a very short contemplation kriya. Bring the arms up so they're out of the shoulders, shoulders, elbows, wrists, palms face each other. Keep the shoulders on the ground. And for the next couple of minutes, I just want you to contemplate what it is that you are afraid of losing, what it is that you feel like you have so much to protect. What happens if you let go of that? What happens if you free yourself? From those skeletons in the closet. If you need to bend the legs, that's perfectly fine. Don't let the breath change. And then go ahead, release the legs, squeeze them in. Feet flat to the floor. Lift the butt up, slide the butt over to the right. Open the arms out like wings, bent legs, or you can come into eagle legs. Either would be fine. And then you're gonna drop the legs over to the left. Gaze to the right if it feels appropriate. See if you can really stack the knees if you're just doing bent legs. So that top knee stays right on top, not behind. We want the hips lined up. Scoot this hip forward. Nope, nope. Oh, this guy stay the same, but just this. Yeah. Yeah, nice. Uh-huh. Come back through center. Unwind if you were wound. Lift up, take the butt to the second side. You pick the arm position. Let's go to that twist.
A little tower going on.
This is another really good one to feel that asymmetry.
The feet flexed or relaxed?
Natural, more neutral. Mm-hmm. Now come back to neutral. Unwind the legs, squeeze them in. And let's do a brief relax.